So I will run through my whole intro here in just a moment. This will be the ending slide, Chris, that I'll have posted after you're done and you turn your visual off and I close us out.
Okay.
I will also create an opening slide for the beginning of the presentation. Seth, can you send the link to Ivana and Mims so that they can watch our test run? No, I mean Carly. Carla, Ivana, Bethany, Megan, who am I talking to? I'm looking right at you.
There we go. I'm sending it to you guys. I'm
Right.
going to mute myself, and it's all you, okay?
I know who you are. I love you. Okay. So, and you're doing a countdown, right?
No, I will, but we're live.
Okay. So this is my intro. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Missy. I work at Awana headquarters with the Awana Club ministry staff, and we are thrilled to have you with us tonight. We want to begin our broadcast by sharing with you the vision for the new TNT. We'll be walking you through the results of the field test as well. After we discuss both the student... this is my unedited version, so good thing we're running through this. We are so encouraged by by the number of you that are with us tonight, but since we have a large crowd and limited time, I want to invite you to type your question as soon as it occurs to you. This way, we can help manage our time and allow us to respond to everyone. So clearly my script needs a little editing, guys. I haven't even run through this myself personally, so it's good that we're doing this. The webinar will last about an hour. If at the end you have additional questions that didn't get covered, please email us at ttupdate@awana.org. In a minute, I will hand the presentation over to our Director of Children's Ministry, but before we begin, I want to go over a few technicalities that will help you get the most out of our session. To ask a question during the webinar, simply move your cursor on your screen, and a toolbar should appear at the top of your Google Hangout window. From the menu grid there, click on the blue question and answer speech bubble icon and simply type your question in the chat window. Or if you would rather tweet us your question, we will also be monitoring Twitter. So please use the hashtag AwanaTTUpdate. Now to introduce our speaker, Chris Marchand is the Director of Children's Ministry here at Awana. Chris has a little over a decade of experience in children, youth, and family ministry. Chris has 3 master's degrees in the area of children's ministry, religious education, and professional ministry. He is also a husband, a dad, an Awana Club volunteer, and a Star Wars enthusiast. You'll notice that by the stuff that he's got behind him in his office. All right, again, thank you so much for coming. Without any further delay, here's Chris.
Hey, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate every single one of you taking time out of your schedule to come and hang out with us and to talk about TNT tonight. This is very exciting. And also just want to welcome some of you who may have been invited by somebody who's familiar with Awana. So if there's some of you who have absolutely no idea what Awana is, what TNT is, but you were invited by a friend to come and check it out, we are glad that you could spend a few minutes with us as we really spend the next hour talking through why we went through the TNT update, and then I'm going to be able to have the opportunity to talk with you about our field test and some of the things we saw. But just to get us kicked off and started, let's talk about that. Why update TNT? And really the reason behind that is we want to make a great program even better. But there's 3 primary things that come to mind when we talk about why to update TNT. And these are things that you or our advisory team asked us for. Even from the get-go, this has not been an update that has been made somewhere in a back room or in an ivory tower. This has been an incredibly inclusive process, taking feedback from kids, from leaders, from people who love this program, pour in their time, effort, and energy into it. And so just keep that in mind as we share these things, that these are some of the major things that you wanted to see in the TNT update. The first is to create opportunities for deeper discipleship between leaders and kids in club. We really got the sense that, look, you guys need to, people want to slow down. Last year I had the opportunity to be a TNT leader myself. During that time, I would have kids come up to me and they would be ready with like 18, 20 sections ready to blow through a night and have me sign off on their verses. But you know, halfway through the year, I was like, hey, we need to slow this down. And so I would ask them questions like, hey, what does that verse mean? I would ask them questions like, hey, can you explain to me what God is saying in this passage? And so we wanted to create opportunities in the curriculum that, I mean, it's great for kids to memorize God's word and hide it in their heart. But as much as recognition is important, comprehension is also important as well. And we wanted to make sure that we gave leaders dedicated time to sit down with students, or sit down with kids, and to be able to work through the scriptures together. On top of that, we wanted to update the content and design to really present a curriculum that resonates with tweens in 2016 and beyond. At a later webinar, not tonight, but at a later time, we are actually going to walk through the design of the curriculum and the artwork. And so you'll be able to see hands-on with our materials. We're not doing that tonight. There'll be another opportunity later for you to sign up for a different webinar. But one of the major reasons why we wanted to update TNT was to bring a design and content that just meshes and gels with your kids. And then also to make scripture memory accessible for all kids. We have those high flyers in our ministry who just, like I said, that kid that came with like 18, 20 sections, he just wants to blow through material. And so we created an incredible amount of extra credit opportunities for your high-flying kids to keep them going. However, I also, as much as I have those high-flying kids, I have those kids that, especially like me when I was an Awana kid, where it's like I struggled with scripture memory. It is just not something that comes easy to me. So we took that in mind as well in the update, and we wanted to present a curriculum that made hiding God's word in the hearts of kids something that's accessible for a diversity of not only learning styles, but also learning types as well. And then lastly, to build lessons that provide deeper understanding and life application. And as I already mentioned, again, my kids last year, I wanted to make sure that they understood God's word, that they had time to wrestle with it with me, that I just wasn't signing off sections, but that I was actually engaging scripture with them. So with that in mind, I just want to shift gears here and let's talk about our field test. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all, and then we're going to talk about our field test experience and the things that we learned as a team as we went through the process of designing this field test experience.
Okay,
I'm not
Chris,
going to do
we
this
just
in the
see
live
your
run, but I need to back it up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to pause you.
Yeah.
We see your whole PowerPoint application right now.
Even right now you do?
Uh-huh,
Well,
even right now.
Weird.
So I wonder...
I have it on presentation.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did that for me too, and Mims was like, this might be an issue. Maybe what we need to do is actually trying to export something as a PDF, but yeah, I don't know why it would just show up that way.
So when you see my screen right now, do you see the PowerPoint?
I see you.
No, you see me. Okay. Wow.
See, looks great.
Yeah. I don't think it's a killer either way. I mean, if we don't, it
Yeah,
doesn't look
if it
as
doesn't
good,
show
but
in presentation view, should we just carry on? I mean, like, obviously,
carry on.
if we're on air, we're just going to go with it, and I'm not going to interrupt you, Chris, but I wonder if we can troubleshoot that so it is a little bit more elegant.
Okay. Tell you what.
Options.
Let me try one thing here really quick, and then we'll get back on track.
Yep. Sorry to interrupt your flow too.
You know, you totally train wrecked me now. I don't even know where I'm going to pick this thing up from.
Start from the beginning of field test.
Yeah.
I won't interrupt you during. I just want us to work out any of these kinks.
Yeah, PDF might be better though.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. Like, if I screen share this marketing proposal, do you guys just see the marketing proposal? Do you see that, Chris?
Hold on.
Yep.
I'm doing one thing. And,
Yeah.
I think that works as a PDF.
Yeah, as a PDF, I just wonder, you can do a simple export from, hold on, let me end screen share. Okay, well, my video feed. Yeah, so I think is there a simple way to export those slides, though, as a PowerPoint slide as a PDF?
okay. Yep.
Yeah, I think we should be able to. Yeah, as long as it doesn't change your format, and we lose some of that, the transitions, but I don't think that's going to be killer. Is it going to be killer for your flow?
A little bit, but hold on.
If not, then let's stick with the PowerPoint and just know that we can see your toolbar and the slides in that column, We're actually seeing your screen view. Also, Seth, side note, only you can answer questions as they come in the little queue. So I'm just going to keep a personal tally. But if you can kind of be listening to what we're saying, and if you see a question that's up there that Chris has answered, if you want to click answered as it happens during that Q&A portion.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, we don't disappear, right?
Yeah, and then they will disappear. So if anybody's looking, I think anybody that's watching can see questions come in and who asked those questions.
Yeah.
So if we can kind of keep an eye on those and keep tally, that'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, we're great. Thank you so much for your help.
Okay.
Gonna kill it. Gonna kill it.
Maybe the best MC ever. Just lay down a little rap.
It's gonna be amazing.
Amazing.
Amaze balls, right?
Make sure you say.
Chris, it's gonna be so good.
Question, right?
I know. Question is what's really hanging me up.
Question.
Chris and question, because I say quiz.
Ask
Quiz.
Chris some questions.
I'm gonna ask
Yes,
Chris some
guys,
questions.
okay. I'm going to share my slides.
Okay, show your slides now. All right,
Okay.
I'm turning mute on. All right, bye.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about why we did a field test. We wanted to build a strongest program possible, and we know that we couldn't do that without your help. So just to give you a little insight into our process of what we went through to develop this to develop the new TNT update. First, we started with integrated discipleship, connecting vital components of lifelong discipleship. You're going to find in the new TNT update that we have the Bible study, prayer plays a big part, Bible memory, life application. These four components are really the genesis, the beginning point for what my team has worked considerably hard on and brought in terms of an update. Just to give a little insight into our process of how we build curriculum or really just about anything. And it's a simple process, 4 stages of discover, design, develop, and deliver. That's how we build curriculum. When we talk about the field test, that falls into our discovery phase. It's a time where we can ask questions, where we can tinker, where we can try things, where we can deploy a sample, have really good conversations and solid feedback from churches. It's a time where we can test out. That's why we call it a field test. So in our discovery phase, just welcome to the laboratory. We began with, again, those ideas and those conversations, those 4 critical integrated discipleship building blocks. On top of that, through scope and sequence and concepts, again, national advisory group playing a role in this, and then finally deploying a national field test. And then from that field test, we have qualitative and quantitative results that I'm going to have the opportunity to share with you here tonight. Just a little snapshot of our field test and everything that was involved. We had 63 churches participate in their national field test, 32 states, 3,500 kids, and 250 leaders. So all of these individuals played a role and gave us feedback in our field test. We actually had the opportunity, my team and I, and some others, to visit some of these TNT field test sites, because the reality is there's only so much that you can read and interpret from the survey. And so we had opportunity to actually see what was going on at these TNT field test locations. So we spent time in Massachusetts, Virginia, Oregon, California, Texas, and those were great opportunities to actually sit down with leaders and have a conversation with them and hear about different things that they had learned, both good and negative, about the TNT field test, and take all that information back here so that we can pour all those different points of analysis into our final product. Let's talk about some of our results from that field test. We asked kids overall, how satisfied are you with the kids' handbook? And you'll see that about 55% very satisfied. They really like the lesson content, love the depth and richness of the Bible study. Another result, this one I am very super excited about, but based on your experience, did your students find the kids' handbook to be easy, somewhat challenging, neutral, very hard, impossible? 73% somewhat challenging. I think that's actually a really great number, because just in my history, in whether it's church ministry or whether it's even education, if things are super easy, they don't captivate and keep the attention of kids. Kids want a challenge. They don't want to come and just do the easy thing. They want that push, that and if you don't believe me, there's an entire gaming world out there that constantly puts challenges in front of kids, even in the form of video games, and they keep coming back to it. Why? Because they love the challenge. They love the opportunity to learn, to grow, to wrestle through with something. So I'm actually very pleased about that 73% statistic right there.
That's awesome. I'm going to interrupt you again, buddy.
Yep.
Only because we're now no longer getting any video feed. So all we're seeing is your face, and we're trying to troubleshoot that a little bit. Spend the last few minutes, and we think it's because we all
need to hardwire.
Well, there you go. Now we see him, but why didn't we see his presentation before?
Yeah, I stopped sharing the presentation right there.
Oh,
yeah.
So your presentation stopped sharing. We just got a black box instead.
Yeah, so you were talking that whole time, and it was only for the first, minute and a half of your spiel that we had your presentation showing, and then we had a blank screen.
Okay, do you need me to be hardwired into this thing? Would that help?
We all need to hardwire in, yeah.
Yeah, we're all going to have to hardwire in for this. I wonder if we just try doing that now, if it will absolve that issue. I'm going to go ahead and do it too here in Jeremy's office. Jeremy's doing the homework. It's like a circus. I miss Betsy. Where's my dealy bop? Oh yeah, I need the converter dealy thingy. And he took it. Did he? Let's see the screen. All right. All right, had to get an adapter, and I think we lost Seth. I see him milling about. Well, technical issues. Here we think like, oh, Google Hangouts, totally the right solution, the easy fix. We do the simple. Not so much. You've joined again and left. What's up? What's up? What's up? Am I the only person on? I might be the only person here. So I'm going to continue to do a little deal. Hey, there you are. Did you hear that? I don't hear you. You're on mute now. Oh, it's because I'm in Jeremy's office. Son of a bee. And his always has issues. Okay, unplugging from that. Can you hear me? Okay.
All right, I'm hardwired.
All right. I'm not yet. I might have to go to my desk, but that's not going to be an issue later on tonight. If I do it in Jeremy's office, somehow I lose audio. So that's not helpful for anybody. Okay.
Why do you lose audio in Jeremy's office?
I don't know. It's some weird freak thing, but every time he tries to do Google Hangouts, his audio like gets screwed up. So I just tried to hardwire and I lost it. So I'm assuming that's the issue. That I was in there and trying to route in. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me?
Are we flipping back and forth? I don't know why it's not auto-flipping with who talks.
Yeah, it's like automatically flipping to that person.
Yeah, is it automatically flipping or no?
No.
Chris, can you talk?
His audio, I don't
His
hear him.
audio's. Is it flipping to me for you, Missy, when I talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might control that. You might have control over that. Do you not?
No, well, is it on Chris now for you?
Nope.
Okay, so there's a present to everyone button. Chris, it's what? It is flipping? Okay. So I'm just looking at who I see. Chris, we still have any audio from you? Not getting it.
No. Got nothing, buddy. Nothing from you, Chris. He's gonna hang up, try get back on. That's a good idea.
Okay, should we try to invite him again?
I think he still has the invitation.
Oh, he
Back.
joined.
Speak.
There we go. Can you hear
There
me now?
he is.
Yeah, what happened? Do you know?
Sometimes you just gotta hang up and try the call again. So.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of that.
So, yeah.
Not foolproof, guys. Okay, it's good. Hopefully, being hardwired in though, and we've got a Carly to help us check and make sure that we're not, losing feed. So I'm glad that she's there and doing this. So.
Okay. I am going to share my screen.
Okay.
And see how that goes. So.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. It's
All
not
right.
full screen, but I feel like I can read it and it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, not full screen, but if you guys are cool with it, I think it's gonna work. Next time around, we can export to a PDF or do something different.
Okay. Is there a way to for a PDF? That's actually really easy to do right now. Do you want me to just try that?
Why don't you export it and let's see how it looks when you actually do it.
Okay.
Because we might as well try it and run through it without it. As long as it doesn't completely throw off your vibe and you can roll with the fact that it doesn't have transitions.
Yeah, that's not as as important. All right. What do you see?
I see your icon. I see not a moss, but I've only seen your icon. Oh, we got something. Talk again, Chris.
Whoa,
Hey,
it's like
yeah.
stuck.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me stop share. And then
Do it again.
Yep. Okay. Now I'm sharing.
Yeah.
There you go.
That looks great.
How's that look?
We see the thumbnail. Sorry, go ahead and talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So I can just scroll up through this and bada bing, bada boom.
Yep. So I see your pages on the left-hand side of the thing. So we see your entire application still. It's not in a preview mode.
Okay.
Presentation mode. But that, again, is not an issue. I actually think that this is less distracting because there's less information in the toolbar. Oh, there you go. There it is. There's presentation.
How's that?
It looks wonderful.
Bingo.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right.
Okay.
Not as
All right.
fancy, but hey, we got something that works. All right.
All right. Let's
carry on.
All right. So we also asked our field test churches about the kids handbook. Which of the following handbook elements? Because again, we're trying out some stuff with this field test and trying some new components and some new things. So which of the following handbook elements are your kids using? One of the biggest things that I know I saw on the field test was just the inclusion of our of our prayer journal pages, and just seeing these kids taking dedicated time to actually not write down prayer requests, but to pray for one another was something that really stuck with me and it made a huge impact. And again, the groups that I was going to see, it wasn't like praying for grandma's dead hamster. It was actually the kids diving into each other's lives and really recording, really taking time to pray through the meaningful things that our kids bring to club and want to bring before the Lord. So again, 55% they really enjoy using the prayer journal pages. Both the Make It Stick and the Parent Checklist, 27%. Again, that Make It Stick section was it was a help that accompanied the memory verse, and it was a tool for kids to use in order to help memorize scripture better. And then we included some extension sections for leaders and kids to go off and do additional work. Again, like some of them just said, hey, I haven't gotten to this point yet. And then by the time we've deployed these results, some of our churches said, hey, it's just too soon to tell. But we asked them, based on your experience, how have the kids' handbooks impacted your kids' TNT experience? 72% said overall, and I love this quote, but 72% said it improved their experience overall. And this quote from a leader is just, this is why we do what we do. They said, I actually get to spend time talking to my kids about Jesus. That is awesome. And so just the fact that we've created space in our club program for leaders and kids to have meaningful conversations about Jesus is just an incredible thing. Moving on, based on your experience, did you find small group and fast track leader resources to be easy to use, somewhat, neutral, hard, impossible? 45% were sort of split here between easy to use and somewhat. And our team has taken that data back, and we got to ask some questions of some leaders in the field, kind of, hey, what'd you mean by this? And I think what we found is that leaders are looking for resources that don't cause them to go have to buy a kid's book in order to use their own. That they want to see a synchronized resource experience across the board. And so, so we had the opportunity to talk with leaders and take that feedback and that data and include it into our final build. Based on your experience, how have the leaders' materials affected the overall TNT experience? 73% said that the leaders' resources have improved the experience overall. These leaders' resources have helped a lot. And they said that I like the fact that I have options to help guide my large group teaching. That it isn't just one thing that they have to do or one script that they have, but they have options and they can think through their group because, again, you know your students. So they have the opportunity to kind of customize and shape the leaders' resources to meet the needs of the group. So just as a wrap-up summary of our field test results, overall, churches have been really pleased with the start zone, kids handbook, small group, large group, lesson content. Churches are seeing positive results from the integration of small group and large group time. Again, before, if you're familiar with TNT, these were one small group time. We in the past we called that handbook time. So there actually really wasn't necessarily a small group time in the programming of TNT. And then we have this large group time, which usually just sort of ends up, I know for me in my experience, it becomes the, hey, can I just go grab that guy down the hall, and hey, you kind of look like you're got a close relationship with Jesus. Hey, do you mind just speaking to our TNT kids? And so you have this disconnected large group time, and then what happens in handbook time, and they never talk to each other. Well, now there's a connected thread throughout the entire TNT experience that I'm very excited about. In terms of lifelong discipleship, churches are noticing a difference by shifting to the all-together method, and we're going to talk about that because in just a minute when I run through some features, over a self-paced model. Now, this is important. You can still do self-paced with the new TNT material. However, the design of the new TNT material is much more beneficial with groups that are going to move together. And what that means is that so all of your kids are focused on one lesson every single week, that they progress and they move together. In the past, it's been you just hand out the handbooks and it's off to the races and they go as fast as they can. We think in order to foster deeper discussions and just to give the group time to process things together in relationships, that it's better to have them move all together through the TNT curriculum. We also noticed some areas that we got some tweaks here. We need to keep improving this thing. Leaders are telling us, hey, I need multimedia resource support. Do you have anything that you can offer in terms of additional media components that will enhance or improve the overall experience? If you're familiar with our Trek program out there, we included with our Trek program a PowerPoint slide deck that you can use with about 5 slides. We're going to follow a similar format here and provide a PowerPoint slide deck that will give you a title slide, the memory verse slide, a slide that you can customize, and then the key points in the large group teaching, so that this is really, just download the PowerPoint slide deck, throw it up on the screen, and you're good to go. Another thing we did, and this is actually something that my team has been just really doing an excellent job on and working through over the past couple of weeks, has just been revisiting and making adjustments to the visual layout and design to just really develop a more synchronized TNT experience across the entire curriculum line. So there's some visual and some design tweaks that we've made that if you were part of our field test, you're going to notice that difference when you see the finished curriculum this summer. And then one of the things we noticed too is that we need to provide more training on how to be small group leaders of kids. So many of the groups that we got to see, a lot of our adults are taking these adult small group the habits and behaviors of how they operate in terms of adult small group, and they think that transitions down with little kids. So we had a lot of leaders coming and saying, hey, do you have anything to help me be a better small group leader of kids? So we're thinking through some training that we can provide to help resource leaders with what they need in terms of tools and training to just help be the best small group leaders of kids that they can be. So how's the new TNT different? Let's talk through this a little bit. Just some of the major upgrades that we got to test out in the field test, but this is also what's going to be built into the final build come this summer. Believe it or not, in the Ultimate Adventure 1 handbook right now, there are only 7 Bible studies. There's some different activities and things in it, but we have increased the amount of Bible study content, going from 7 Bible studies to 32 unique Bible studies in the new TNT update. That is just a phenomenal addition, and very excited about it. Again, fully integrated resources. Talk about how the handbook, the small group leaders guide, the large group teaching session, they all have a connected thread between them. They aren't disconnected in any way. Small group time. Handbook time's changing. We're changing that to now have actual small group time, discussion time with your students to talk through And this can look, and we saw this in a variety of ways in the TNT field test. For some groups, it was, hey, we have kids that they don't have time to prep. They just come straight from school, or a bus ministry brings them, and so they spend their small group time working through the Bible study together. We also have other groups who, hey, their kids, they come prepped, they come ready, and so they spend that time talking about the different things that their kids saw as they did the Bible study. So that's one of the different features in the new TNT. Is just really we're swapping out handbook time for small group time. All together method, again, we are moving as a group from week to week to week in the design of the new TNT. Some other features, again, just talked about just some of the update of our design and our layout. Extra credit, we both have gold and silver extra credit, 64 extra credit sections that are going to be included in the TNT update. Start zone. In the past, start zone's just sort of been this one and done, and I don't need to do it ever again. We are making that a part of the curriculum where every single year students are going to start off with the start zone. In terms of just even habits, in terms of retention of the gospel, it doesn't hurt anybody to revisit the gospel at any point. So we want to make that the beginning point of every student's year in the new TNT. So rather than a one and done, this is now going to be a common part of the TNT program. And then lastly, the inclusion of fast track time. Fast track time is opportunity for years. Again, even if we make all these changes, that young man who's got those 18, 20 verses that he wants to talk to me about, he's still coming ready. And he wants me to sign off on his sections. Well, rather than, because we're changing handbook time to small group time, we included fast track as an option, and you know your club, you know how you want to deploy this. Some do it at the beginning, some do it at the end, some split up game time and do it a variety of different ways, but it's an opportunity for maybe some of the disconnected people in your ministry who might not have a lot to do. This gives them a role of something to do, to come and just listen to verses. We had one church in our field test who they got their senior saints in the lobby and they listened to kids' verses 15 minutes before club even started. So Fast Track provides that opportunity for kids to come say their verses, so that way, and to get the sign off, so that way the program can progress, and that small group time doesn't just become time to just sign off pieces of paper, but gives you, the leader, an opportunity to connect with your students. So that's a little bit about our TNT field test, and the things that we learned from that test. If you have more if you want more information on the TNT update as we move forward, you can go to awana.org/TNT update. If you have any questions or even want to, if there's something about in our webinar and our presentation that you want either more clarity on, or just want to just dialogue and just have a conversation with us, we'd be happy to have that. You can email us at ttupdate@awana.org, and that'd be great. And we're gonna just turn it back over to Missy, who's going to facilitate a time of question and answer for us. So Missy, take it away.
Brilliant. Great job, Chris. So
Yeah.
At this time I'm going to say I've got questions coming in. Thank you guys so much for participating in this. If a question occurs sparked by someone else's question, or if one just occurs to you while we're talking, by all means, please ask it, and we'll do our best to address that question in the amount of time that we have left. And then I'll lead into the batch of questions, probably beginning, Chris, with those that are here in our question queue, unless we have priority questions that we want to answer in the document I provided you.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's talk that through. And also, I'm glad we're giving them actually more information than I expected we would. So this is good, but it's also going to get us questions like, what do you mean small group is replacing handbook time? How do we review their verses? Like, where do we find time to do that? So are you prepared to answer questions like that?
Yeah, I can. But I'm going to throw in there too, simply because having lived through this with Trek with Jeremy that
Yeah.
one question and one person, even though he did a fantastic job, we could be here an hour and a half later.
Yep.
With this, and I want to make sure that we're sensitive to everybody's time. So I think what I'm going to say is that if we start getting like a lot of questions about like the details and the specifics, just to remind our audience that, hey, you know, this webinar is about to present why we're updating TNT and the field test results. We're going to have training coming out that's going to be able to walk you through the mechanics of what TNT is, and also when we do the product walkthrough through the handbook, small group leaders guide, large group teaching guide, we can get more into the how does this work. So,
okay.
Not to avoid the question, but I might avoid the questions. So.
Right. Well, I think that's good. And if you want to do that question by question, I can either bundle that into my closing statement, which isn't going to be long. It's just, sorry, I have to cut us off here. We are at our time. I will provide a slide to you with the information about our website and our email account should you want to ask us more questions. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Have an excellent evening, that kind of thing. I could add in the reference to additional training. However, there's no information for them to, there's no information or next steps provided for them immediately.
Right.
So if you want to respond to that as questions come in, that might be good. Also, because I don't understand like all the nuances, like questions that came in today. Do we want to talk about how many verses are in the new curriculum? Do we want to talk about scope and sequence tonight? Like those are the
no, I think I want to keep this very much on the rails simply because of our time frame. To say, and if anything, I can make this part of my ending just to say, you know, hey, we are going to address scope and sequence and the mechanics and the ins and outs of the new TNT at an additional webinar, because one, that's going to keep them on the hook. That's what they want to know, so they're going to come back. But at the same time, this is just strictly about why we're doing it and what we found.
Yeah. Okay. This is helping me. Then I'll stick with the script first. I'm going to stick with scripted questions first.
Yes, I think that would be great, because I think what you sent me, that would be good. Questions about particulars and the mechanics and of the curriculum. I would say, you know, hey, we're going to address that at a later webinar. Yeah.
Great. All right, so we'll run through the questions. Seth, you'll keep an eye on any that might be answered in the right-hand queue. I don't imagine we're going to have like an onslaught of questions coming through on Twitter or on this channel, because first of all, I don't think a lot of our people understand the technology, but I also think we're going to have a decreased attendance because of the night that it's on. So. So yeah, I'll stick with the script first, Seth, so you know, and I've got 7 questions that are listed here. So when you see me answering additionally from the crowd, if it's a commonly occurring question, I will address it before our time is up, but I'll probably just be sticking with what we got here. So.
Okay.
Okay, cool to hang up, and we'll be good to go in 45 minutes here.
I think so. Are there any other questions here? What I probably want to do is I will be also creating that closing slide. But that shouldn't be difficult for me to screen share. Do we want to try one more time hanging up and doing this all over again, just to make sure that we're set up with the mechanics?
Okay.
Or do we feel
more time.
Do we feel comfortable with where we're at?
Yeah, your call. One more time?
Yeah, let's do a dial-in one more time.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm hanging up.
I'm concerned that like we're going to have issues, like everybody getting on the same page and making sure that things are muted and screens are working and all that. So.
Okay. All right. One more time. Here I go.
Thanks. Bye.